today I wanted to share with you perspective from one of my clients. So, April, recently you've had the opportunity to be both a seller and a buyer. And I just wanted to get your perspective for everybody on three things that you would share as a seller.
Yes. So, well, thank you for having me. I want to share a couple of things that I think is most important, and one is seeking out an agent that has a strong track record. And I was lucky, we were lucky to have Michelle. But I think above that, over and above, I think it's also an agent who communicates well and in a language that you understand. Um, so often we'll have an agent perhaps that comes along that is communicating with us, but we're not clear what it means, what the jargon is, or they're not communicating enough. And so I would say be open to having an agent that in the beginning it may seem like it's over communication or a lot of communication, but it could be that you're just not accustomed to being in these kinds of transactions. And so you want someone who's going to pretty much tell you and keep you abreast of what's happening from moment to moment.
Great.
Yeah. So my second tip is staging, listening and letting go. And this comes from both a seller's perspective and a buyer's perspective. I'm kind of cheating a little bit here because I noticed that for me as a seller, it was, me versus perhaps a new style, right? Me and my style versus what was being recommended. And needing to let go of what my aesthetic is to make sure that the space and place is ready for the buyer. Also, sometimes we think we've done enough to clean out, and there's little things that we need to get rid of that maybe the stager says, I know this is nice and it looks nice, but it's not connecting right with what we want to show in the photos. And so listening and letting go. And I say that as both a buyer and a seller because on the buyer's end, I went into a lot of homes and they didn't listen and they didn't let go. But we let go of that home. Yes, we did. We did not. We were not interested because it was so much going on in there that it didn't give us a vision, right? It was so cluttered or so full that we couldn't, in French we say, se projeter. We couldn't project ourselves into the space. Finally, I would say in this particular area of showings and access to the home, more is more. More is more, right? The more opportunities that you're giving to access and for people to access your home, to see the home, probably and possibly the more offers you're going to receive, right? And so this can be inconvenient when you're either a first time seller or you just have a lot going on at home. Some of us may be working from home. And so we've got to give that space for them or for people to see the home and give them access. And I noticed that there were moments where a showing would pop up, in the app, and maybe I had a plan, for that day or that night.
And you changed it.
And you had to change it. You gotta let it be what it is. And I would also say find local spaces in your area that you can go and work.
Work from home, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Michelle actually recommended that we go away, we take a little trip so that, for that week or whatever period of time, people had access to the house and it didn't inconvenience us.
And it was a fun trip.
It was a very nice trip. It was great. It was great.
Well, yeah. those are great tips. I think that will all be helpful for anybody who's even thinking about it or being prepared, or for somebody who's never sold before. Those are all great things that I hear from different people.
Yes.
And it's good to know that that it works smoothly for you. And,
yes.
And it was a pleasure. Of
course. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.